Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Hello, this is Kelly, and you are listening to In Her Voice. Thanks for being here. I'm so grateful for you. We're coming off of Thanksgiving week, and I just want to say I'm so grateful for you. So grateful that you're here. So grateful that you're listening. So grateful that you're giving this time to yourself, that you're taking this time to settle into who you are and learn more about who you are and understand what kinds of things you really need and you really want. That's huge. That's huge. So today, I have a really interesting topic for you today, and that is on doing the bare minimum. Okay, so all of you overachievers, of which I am one, hear me out. Just stay with me on this because I promise it will be worth it. But I was thinking a lot about the cycle of all or nothing. And I fall into this cycle frequently. That's how I learn these lessons, because I do them over and over again until I figure it out. And then I do them a couple more times until I finally have to take a step back and say, how long am I going to let this happen? And the all or nothing cycle is one of those things for me. And, I think that all or nothing may be personality driven. I don't know if you are familiar with Gretchen Rubin's book, Better Than Before, but she talks about how some people are moderators and some people are what she calls abstainers. So moderators can do a little. They can take a couple bites. They can do a few things. And abstainers are people who it's all or nothing. Either I'm all in or I'm not going to do it at all. And I don't think that either one of those is good or bad. It just is. And it's really helpful to identify which one of those you are, because then you can create structures to support you in your life so you don't get caught in a vicious cycle of all or nothing if you are an all or nothing person like me. So, the thing about all or nothing is that it's exhausting, because it's this endless cycle of adrenaline and burnout. Go, 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 go. I can't go anymore because I'm so exhausted. No one can give 100% all the time. It's just physically impossible. You can't be all the time. And so because of that, the 100%, the all in necessitates nothing. That's the only way to balance out those two, if you will. It's one or the other. You go until you're burnt out, and then you can't do anything. And what you might find too is that this might apply to you in some, but not all of the areas of your life. And that's totally fine, because this is an important lesson that we can learn and a practice that we can bring into our life to support our well-being, our health, our happiness, our feelings of success, our motivation, all of these things that I think are really the drivers of our action. And so, I was trying to think about this all or nothing pattern. And the reason that I was really thinking about it is because I found myself a few weeks ago in a nothing time. I had push, and then I had nothing. And the problem with nothing is not the nothing. That is not problematic unless you make it be problematic. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing nothing. In fact, I think there's a lot of things right with doing nothing. But one thing that I know is difficult for me is when I am doing nothing, it's hard to get started again. And I think part of that difficulty comes from knowing that you're about to start the cycle again. Like, oh, I just give myself one more afternoon or one more day, and then I'm going to start tomorrow and be all in tomorrow. And it's almost like our body knows. Our body knows, okay, well, that's fine. But guess what? You're going to find yourself back here in nothing land again. And I think sometimes when we're in the nothing, doing nothing place, we can get pretty judgy, especially as perfectionists and overachievers. So that doesn't feel good. But also we lose momentum. When you stop completely, it takes more effort to get started again. And so I was really sitting with like, what is the solution to this all or nothing cycle? Is there a way to make it work for us, or to be almost all or almost nothing? Is there a way to moderate a little bit that all or nothing cycle way of being? And so I started thinking about, okay, well, what would bare minimum look like? And I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, Kelly, bare minimum, that doesn't sound like someone who's ambitious. That doesn't sound like someone who's driven. That doesn't sound like someone who wants excellence in their life. And I think that that can be justified sometimes, when we talk about bare minimum. But what if we changed it? What if we put bare minimum on its head and allowed it to be something better than that? What if we gave ourselves permission to do the bare minimum? Even if it's just for a time, what would that look like? So for me, the cycle, the last all or nothing cycle that I was in was I was moving my body just the way I like it. I had a really good routine, and then I wasn't feeling so hot. So I took a couple days off, which I think was the right thing to do. And then I lost my momentum and I got stuck in the nothing land. And I was frustrated because I knew that moving, exercising, however you label it, would help me feel better and would help me feel the way that I want to feel. But I just it felt like it was going to take so much effort to jump back into my regular routine, which maybe I could label that the all routine. And so I gave myself a plan. And my plan was, I am going to move my body 10 minutes a day minimum. I'm just going to do a minimum of 10 minutes a day. And it can be anything. It can be walking. It could be doing the Peloton. It could be doing yoga. It could be stretching. Whatever it is, I'm going to do minimum of 10 minutes. And before I knew it, I was back into my routine. And it felt really great. And it was not difficult. It was easy because I knew all I had to do was 10. I could do more if I felt like doing more. And many days I did. I would hop on my bike and I would do 10 minutes and I would think, this feels really good. I'm going to do more. Or I would choose a 20-minute yoga class and it would feel great. And so, that gave me a bridge between all or nothing. And, I started thinking even more about this. Like, what if bare minimum was a bridge, not just from all to nothing or from nothing to all, but what if bare minimum became a bridge to a third place? A place where there was ease and momentum, a place where the pace could be a little faster and a little slower, where there's an ebb and a flow, a place where we didn't have to work so hard all of the time that we needed to go down to a full stop in order to recover from that. It's a place of a little bit of push and a little bit of pullback, a little bit of recovery and a little bit of get up and go. It's this fine-tuned river where you can just hop in, and sometimes the rapids are really flowing and sometimes it's a gentle current, but you're always moving forward. That is what I call flow. I find it to be elusive and exciting. I seek it. And it started to hit me that bare minimum can be the bridge when you get stuck going back and forth between all or nothing. Bare minimum can be the bridge to flow. It's a new place. It's neither of those. And the beauty of being human is that we can do this one time and get ourselves over to flow, right? And in a few months or weeks or whatever, we might find ourselves stuck on all or nothing again. And that's okay, because we now have a strategy to move into flow. And that is doing the bare minimum, which it seems kind of crazy if you think about it. But for me, this has really worked. And the key is when I am going to bare minimum, there has to be a lot of grace. There has to be a lot of compassion. There has to be a letting go of judgment and an acceptance of where I am right now and what I need right now. When you have all of those come together, bare minimum can be a beautiful, beautiful place. Now, I want to be clear that bare minimum is not a long-term strategy as much as it is a recovery strategy. It's a place where we can move to either from all or nothing to keep our momentum, to get back our momentum, to rest, to begin to push a little bit again. So it's this beautiful middle ground of everything that we need without going to the extremes. That feels really, really good to me. And I just want to encourage you to sit with that a little bit. And the key is you have to take the stigma out. You have to take the stigma of bare minimum out. I mean, you know, you can think of like lots of examples where they say, oh, well, they're just doing the bare minimum. They're just getting by. None of those feel positive. So, you know, maybe there's a different way we can phrase it. If you guys think of a way, let me know. But for now, I've just decided to take the stigma off of bare minimum and acknowledge the necessity of it. When I acknowledge that that is exactly what I need, who cares what other people might say? And, you know, the reality is, I think that only you know what that looks like for you. And this is something that you are not required to, you know, shout from the rooftops. I'm just doing the bare minimum. I'm just getting by. No, this is for you. This is how you take care of yourself. You don't have to prove it to anybody else. You don't have to show it off to anybody else. You don't have to, you know, it's this idea like if you do a workout, but you don't, you know, blast about it on social media, like, does it really count? Heck yes, it counts. Yes, because you count, because you matter, because taking care of you is the most important thing you can do for all of the rest of us, because we need you. We need you at your full flowing capacity, not at all or nothing, but at flowing, at pushing and pulling back, at resting and moving forward all the time. Maybe I'm living in a dream world, but I really think that this is possible. We do have to be intentional about it. And I really believe that that intention can come from giving ourselves permission to slow down, to quote unquote, just get by, to do the bare minimum, and to love ourselves while we're doing that, and to understand that that is our bridge to this magical place of flow where all of the things are easier. Knowing that, you know, it's not a dream world. I'm not saying that you're never going to find yourself exhausted again. Absolutely not. And I believe that with more intention, we can find ourselves in a place of flow, being joyful, being successful, feeling fulfilled, feeling like we're where we want to be in our lives. Doesn't that sound great? So I ask you this question. Will you give yourself permission to do the bare minimum the next time you need to? Maybe that time is right now. Maybe you'll find that you need that in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Whenever you need it, I urge you to give yourself permission to do that. And a great way to give yourself permission is to write yourself a permission slip. And so I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that you can get your own little book of permission slips that I made for you. You can go to kellycovert.com/books, and the link to purchase Give Yourself Permission, my little book of permission slips for self-care and compassion, is right there at kellycovert.com/books. And I'll put the link in the podcast notes, the show notes as well. So remember this, when you are finding that place of flow and ease, you are feeling more fulfilled, you're feeling more joy, you're probably feeling more of yourself. You probably feel more capable. You probably are more inspired. All of those things, I think, are necessities. I want those in my life as much as possible. And when you pay attention to how to get that, you are stepping into a reality where you can give the most. And that doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think the place of giving the most is when we are feeling good, not exhausted, not burnout, not doing nothing, not completely still. But when you find that place of where you are like, this is where I want to be, then that is you in all of your glory. And when you step into that place, you're stepping into your purpose. You're stepping into your passion. And we need that. We need that in the world, because what you bring to the table matters and it makes a difference. Remember this, you are worthy.